Good morning.
We have to confess that our commitment to this project has been overwhelming, has exceeded our capacity. 2 days ago only, we were trying to organize our thoughts and thus generate something that could be understandable. Since we started in 2009, we started a project that someone defined yesterday as an innovative project in the midst of a bureaucratic Europe that wants us to define priorly the aims of a project that has not started. And so we have had to plan innovation, which is a contradiction. So what we try to do, let's think that we are talking about the transition from 2008 to 2011. That is precisely a moment of deep change in Europe. The information we had in 2008 has nothing to do with the information we have in 2011. And so the cooperation with the partners of the project has been very easy. They have been very flexible to our constant changes in methodology and try to see what was relevant and try to answer these basic questions. Basic questions were, is there more innovation in the field of culture? Yes or no? That innovation is translated to the rest of society, to the rest of the social political space. Does this happen in a different way between the European average and the MED region, which was part of the characteristics of the project that was devoted to the MED space, the MED area? And so we tried to see, to ascertain whether innovation is generated or not. And we were interested in analyzing cultural organizations. And from there stems our methodology. But then we realized very quickly that since 2008, many things are being published about the functioning of cultural organizations. When we developed methodology, we saw that there was a publication that answered already those questions, and so we have enlarged the scope of our research. And what we thought was very important on a micro level, we changed our minds, and then we started to think that the important was what happened in the macro level, that is, what was impact on the overall area. And finally, we have tried to construct a process that doesn't really answer many questions, but asks many questions, and that demands to dwell in depth in each of the aspects that we have approached. The point we are in now, it is a pending process, a process under construction. There is a dispute that has been generated lately on whether we had to call this cultural or creative activities. But we are not interested in that dispute because it is a semantic dispute. We are not interested in cultural activities in the market. We are just interested in cultural activities, in creative activities that are expressed in the market, in an exchange space or an institutional space. That was the subject of our analysis. We are not interested in cultural enterprises or businesses. We talk about organizations because some of them operate in the market or in other spaces, and some of them are not exactly organizations, but almost organizations. And so we try to avoid that dispute on whether call them creative sectors or cultural sectors. We are interested in creative and cultural activities. How we built this answer? I want to explain this even to myself, not because I do not trust your capacity or your skills. It is a self-teaching exercise. We start by analyzing cultural organizations and those who take part in them. One part in the economic space, they are paid for what they do, but another part, they don't. They take action in the cultural space, but they are just creative. This is the satisfaction of individual demands of human beings, of our will to express ourselves, to share, to be moved. Some of these needs are satisfied in the individual or in the economic space. For example, you paint a canvas and someone buys it. But the shared point is the need to express oneself. And this would be the origin of cultural rights. This more or less organized gives us a set of cultural activities in the social space that do not have a market value and a set of products and services. We're going to talk about creative services that are offered on the market. The origin is the satisfaction of this individual need to express oneself and communicate oneself. What we saw when looking at the macroeconomic dimension, thanks to the cooperation with this university and the university opposite to this street, we've met them thanks to this project, even though they were so close. What we found in a conclusive way is that it seems that the dimension of creative services in a certain economic space determines in a relevant way its income per capita. That is, the wealth of European regions is not partly explained by the existence of cultural services. It is the most important variable. It is not just one variable, it is the most important variable to explain the differences in income between the different European regions from econometric analysis for 250 European regions. This was a very conclusive information. It means that an increase by 1% in those that take part in creative services means the increase between 1,000 1,600 euros in the income per capita of a European region. It is a very important data. If we analyze the different regions, it doesn't depend on the level of development. It doesn't depend on the creative development. It is homogeneous per quintiles. It gives us an adamant information. How can we explain this? Well, we have this fact, very clear fact, and there is a causality between the two factors. These are two phenomena that share a cause. The creation explains wealth of regions, and the wealth of regions also explains the number of people working in cultural activities. How can we account for this phenomenon? One of the drivers was the matter of innovation. Innovation, cultural organizations are very innovative. This has been published recently. They use more intensively information and communication technologies, and they have people with skills. This has been practically seen from other colleagues. about the creative ability of people working in culture. They are more innovative. So, if we are speaking about more people employed in these sectors, this increases the productivity of the overall economy. Then also it has to do with the translation of innovations, because these cultural sectors are providers, are suppliers of other sectors. So other sectors buy from innovation from cultural activities. And we know from other studies that cultural activities grant more competitiveness. For example, tourism. Tourism is more competitive if it is completed by cultural activities. So this cannot explain everything. There is a part that has to do with this, and there is another part that we do not completely understand, and other stakeholders from New Zealand or Australia tell us that the dimension of these sectors are the pillar of an innovation rate of a society. We are speaking about the foundations of a system. Culture is the foundation for the ability of a system to generate wealth. We cannot consider this from cultural policies, but from innovation policies that change the paradigm. Then there is another factor that has to do with demand. What we call here this creative class demands innovation. If we have a large social class for innovation, demanding innovation, this class gives a value to innovation. If we have a large creative class, this means that we have a large number of people that are demanding innovation. And this is a study, something that has been less studied. I am trying to explain this to myself even, because I don't have very clear ideas, because some of the elements need to be constructed.